only really concentrate on which side? Because they don't have a choice. So do you understand the importance of keeping your body rhythmically oscillating through ventilatory activity? There's one reason why this person's got a little bit less activity going on this left side. One reason. One simple reason. They can't ventilate correctly with alternating air. They can't get air in and out on both sides. They get air in and out on one side. Or they'll get air on one side in and air on one side out. And that twist puts them in spatial neglect. And they like which leg? The right side. So this guy comes in from Alliance and I say, you know, sir, respectfully, I don't think anybody's did anything wrong, including your physical therapist. I think respectfully, I think you got an attitude. Respectfully. I think you got an internal attitude. And his wife is nodding her head. I said, no, not that kind of attitude. I think you got this internal attitude. I think you've got a chamber that you've had for a long time called this big thorax of yours that's been looking over on a cultivator day after day, braking with the right leg, clutching with the left leg, making sure he doesn't drill out corn when he's cultivating, day after day after day. And what has he got now? What does he own? A very patterned body that doesn't know how to do that. And so his right foot feels too short. He's falling. They took a mechanoreceptor away called the hip. Now he's only got the floor. And he wants more under him on which side? Well, before we even look at the legs, remember they're off in a corner somewhere, Chad? Let's make sure this farmer can do one thing. Go back in his life and find a left ZOA. He got it. It was easy for him because he doesn't have all your degrees. He's not as educated as you are in your field. His field is this when he drives down it. And he still has that field even when he's not in the field. Does that make sense? That's why that illustration you should look at and remind yourself that when that left psoas is turning that left leg out so you can move over to the what? Right. We got a problem. A little bit of problem if you're at the end range. That's not the problem. The problem is, can you replicate that on the other side? And that's why I like that illustration. I think we talked about the lungs, that I don't need to go over this again, but you've got 3 over here. I really, really like talking about this area for so many reasons. And I'm into really autonomics, and I'm into teeth and vision and sensory components of the neck. It all starts right here. This is called the breastbone. And that sternum is a regulator. You've got 3 of them. The 3 S bones are regulators. The regulators are, for function, your sacrum, your sternum, and your sphenoid. And this is a class on the sternum. You didn't know it, but you're taking a class to regulate sternal function movement. That's what you took this class for. Sternal regulation means parasympathetics. It means I can relax. So we're going to do that with air. You know, you came in on tires today. You have a tire on the right side of the car, you have a tire on the left side of the car. If those tires, and now we treat our vehicles better than we do our own bodies. Stephan, we got cars now. You don't even have to buy a Lexus anymore. They're on a lot of them. Tire sensory mechanism that tells you when the tire needs what? Air. Remember that day coming back from Heidi from wherever we were? Running around the cold of, it was the coldest day of the year, running around Iowa trying to figure out where can we find a station that's going to put air in a tire. It really wasn't a problem, was it? It was a sensory, what was it? It was something on your computer that said, I got a messed up tire. We have sensors on our cars that tell us when our lungs are deflated. Or when our lungs are, here's the big word, overinflated. Wouldn't it be great to have sensors on our body that says, Chad, sorry, can't go to work today. You're overinflated. You're hyperactive. Bring it down, baby. Let some air in. We'll put some air over here. Now go to work. Sorry, we can't put you on that piece of equipment today. sensory, see it? Out of place. We don't have that inside of our body. Oh, you do. Can you write this down? We've had them for years. It's called autonomics. Oh, we do. It's called a rhythm, a heart rhythm that goes astray on us. Irregular heart rhythms. Oh, we do. It's called anxiety and attention deficit in kids. Oh, we do. It's called hyperventilation. Oh, we do. We just don't really look at it. But we sense it. Oh, you do. You know. So that's why I like this. Not because it's the lungs. This lung is in situ, the heart's reversed, but I like the picture to talk about the mediastinum and the sternum. That's why it's in your handout. In the early parts of your book, you've got a lot of references on zone of apposition. To this day, Detroyer is my favorite. Every time I see Detroyer, you have certain people that you look at. Mead's done a good job. These are the endless. We have a reference center here in the Institute that has, I don't know how many, Jen, how many articles? Tons of articles on zone of apposition. And I just ask you, you got a bunch I see on your manual, 22 of them or so. Read about the zone of apposition and autonomics. Read about it, and you'll get as pumped up as I am about neurosensory ability. Read about it. All right, we actually can start the course. Can you believe that? Everybody know a little bit about zone of apposition? Just a little, to be dangerous. You understand some of these concepts. Are we going to ever be completely tested symmetrical after this class? Never. Do we possess some hardware inside of us that says, do we have a little chip or a little disc that says you're going to like your right side no matter what? Yes. Don't fight with the gods. Okay? You will need to be respectful of that. Do we have some things going on in our body that says you're going to get cranky if things are not rhythmically alternating? Yes. Do we have a rib cage that's totally reflective of how we walk and swing our arms? Yes. How about the other way? Does our rib cage tell you how you're going to walk and swing your arms? Yeah. So you just flip it. As soon as you tell me you've got an appendage problem, I know that lady will tell you, no, you don't have an appendage problem. You got probably an attitude problem. Okay? So that's what that was meant to do, to get you thinking, Jacob, about other systems and really start to touch you, if you haven't been touched, on how to integrate. You cannot pick up a textbook and get everything out of that textbook on how to ventilate. It's impossible. There are courses out there and instructors and faculty that teach PRI. They'll tell you, hey, we can take your big toe and get you to breathe better if you like it. We can help you find an arch. We can actually do some things with you visually, or we can do some things with you even around the neck, in terms of shutting a muscle on or off to get you to move better. It's a multifactorial complex, and it's so cool. And all these systems are patterned. They're all patterned. I'm a big picture guy. I'm teaching a small picture thought. Breath. Concept number 1. So with that being said, you got to do it when you stand, and you got to do it when you move. And you got to do it always with this word. Because there is no such thing as symmetry to me, Stephanie. When I see things perfectly crisp, perfect, I think about all the imperfections that are going on with it. Nobody let them out of the box. Do you follow me? They're easy to reproduce. You can mass produce them. It's like the doors. Perfect. We do not own perfect bodies. We're going to create a perfect, static, asymmetrical system and a perfect, dynamic, asymmetrical system. So you can stop halfway in the gait cycle and be asymmetrical perfectly. Does that make sense? Because if you can't do that on both sides, it's going to be difficult for you to survive. So static, dynamic. Static, dynamic. We are in a world that can't stop. Write it down. We can't even go to bed. We put soap in the bottom of our sheets to make sure our feet can stop moving. You restless sleepers. We put orthotics in mouths so you won't tear your teeth apart because of trismic activity. We have to put pumps with little motors on to keep airway going through your mouth because of pressure gradient issues. We have 17, 18, 19-year-old university people called students who are put in 60-year-old framework thinking without generating any dynamic appreciation for creativity. You will do it one way, otherwise you won't keep your scholarship. All I'm trying to get across to everybody in this room right now and anybody taking this home study course is we have to keep people dynamically comfortable when they go to bed at night. You can do that. You got to be able to what at night when you go to bed? Breathe. But you got to learn how to do it during the day when you're awake, when you're not moving. Because if you can't do it during the day when you're not moving, how are you going to go to do it at night when you're not moving? And if you can't do it when you are moving, how are you going to do it in bed when you turn over? Subconsciously. You never have to worry. You never have to worry if you stay on a rate and a rhythm. That's going to generate enough ability to move and rotate at night without using appendages. So let's write this down. Would everybody in this room agree before they came to this course that this week you were working with a lot of appendages? I think I start over here. We went around the whole class. I think you're an appendage person. You're an appendage person, sort of. You're not as much as everybody else. Appendage. Would you all agree we're looking at appendages? Flexion, extension, internal rotation. Sometimes we even look at adduction, abduction. Sometimes. Okay? Not very often. What's the one thing that we probably don't look at enough? What's the opposite of an appendage? Write this word. Axial. You have an axial system. You have an appendage system. We try to regulate axial systems in life with appendages, don't we? All these disciplines. Let's see if we can regulate appendages with what system, Linda? The axial system. The axial system. And to regulate the appendages with the axial system, you have to understand both static and dynamic asymmetry. The axial system. So we'll start there. Statically, the axial system. You have a diaphragm on the right side that's larger than the left. Let's just think a minute. If it's larger on the right than the left, axially, you have this axis inside of you, and you got this big diaphragm on the right side. You will never have the same diaphragm on the left side. Think with me. Which diaphragm has got to become weaker? Just reverse the coin. I know you're all strength people. Which diaphragm's got to become weaker, Stephanie? The right or the left side? Somebody? The left diaphragm's got to become stronger because it's small. The right side's got to become theoretically what? Until the left side becomes stronger. You shouldn't be working the right diaphragm. Which side is going to be a little bit stronger inherently? Without work, you were born, you're alive, you're breathing today. Which diaphragm is inherently stronger? You don't have to worry about getting the right side stronger right now. Which side should you be then getting weaker right now? Isn't he a weird guy? Which one? The right one. Which diaphragm do you want to put in position to get stronger? Until you do, you don't have an axial system. You have an appendage system. Remember the farmer? You're in a field. You're in neglect. You don't appreciate it. Am I helping a little bit? Kind of? Sort of? Which diaphragm do you want to always keep in a better position? Do you want to work at? Do you want to strive for a zone of apposition? The left. This should be nothing but left. Life should be left.